We will start with the Premier League standings because this weekend features the top team in London taking on the second top team in Manchester, according to the Premier League standings. Spurs and Manchester United third and sixth heading into their clash at Wembley on Sunday. When you look at what they've done in the last 4 games, well, there's been a lot of wins. 4 wins out of 4 for Manchester United, 3 wins out of 4 for Spurs. The only defeat, of course, was that reverse at home to Wolves. Been a lot of attention upon this fixture, Craig. A lot of people looking forward to it. In many ways, a litmus test, perhaps, for Manchester United, the new Manchester United.
Well, certainly the biggest test that Solskjaer's had, because the teams that they've played in the main have been struggling teams. And they've dealt with it pretty comfortably, so there's no criticism there. But as long as it's not the Tottenham team that lost to Wolves, if it's the Tottenham side that have played any of the other 4 or 5 games recently, then it's going to be a heck of a test, particularly at home, if you can call Wembley home. So, yeah, I would say an acid test for the current, getting carried away crowd. There's no other way to put it.
The feel-good factor has certainly been rising by the week for United. They're now within 6 points of the top 4. Steve, are you buying what they're selling just yet? Or
no, not at all.
Need to see this game?
No, not at all. It absolutely is down to this game. And I think the best thing about this game is they're playing a side who are very complete and who are very strong in every department. You know, the previous 4 games they've had have been against teams who either defend well or try and go forward. So this is a test that they've been waiting to get, and we absolutely will know what they're all about.
Well, if you're Manchester United, you take this game in a different manner and approach it in a different manner than you did whenever Jose Mourinho was around. Because at the very least, you feel that you have an opportunity to win. When Jose Mourinho was around and the feeling within that locker room, you showed up to this game knowing that more than likely you're going to lose and that you're going to struggle and that you're not going to create chances and that you're going to struggle to keep possession of the ball and that you're going to have difficulties defensively. And it's going to be a frustrating afternoon. You knew that even before you stepped on the field. Now, whether that's against inferior opposition or not, there is a vibe about Manchester United that's far more positive, that is far more optimistic, and allows them to, at the very least, perform at a higher potential. And if that's the case, they give themselves an opportunity that I don't think they had before.
Stewart, what's your sense of this heading into the clash at Wembley? United, of course, have been away. Some nice sunny weather training in Dubai. Spurs, maybe a little fatigue. Game against Chelsea on Tuesday. What's your sense?
Well, I go with Ali. There's a good feel factor about Manchester United at the moment. Individuals are playing with a lot more confidence because there's been a change in manager. Solskjaer's done the right thing. He's played up to the crowd a little bit. He's put Rashford up front because that's what the crowd wanted. Pogba's back in the side. They're playing with a system that's fairly straightforward, but everybody's playing that little bit better. And they could catch Tottenham on a bad day, as they showed against Wolves. But if Tottenham play at their very best and Song starts running in behind and Harry Kane coming short and they start linking up with each other, midfield runners go, they get their fullbacks high. Spurs are still the favourites to win this game and are still a top quality side and a better side than Manchester United, no matter how well Solskjaer's done.
Don't forget 3-0 early on in the season at Old Trafford, albeit there was big problems, which got worse. Still, it was a convincing victory. To go back to Robbo's point, if you've got Heung-min's son, it's his last game before he leaves for the Asian Cup. He's been on fire recently. You've got Dele Alli, who's been making some great runs. You've got Sissoko, who's been in the form of his life. You've got youngish Harry Winks has come in and done a sterling job there. If they hit the straps, Tottenham, I think they will win the game, because at the pace they play at is different to what United have faced in recent weeks. And it's such a big game for United, this, and I'll tell you why. Because the 2 teams above them, and all this talk about, United can push for the top 4 now. If Tottenham were to beat them, the gap's going to be huge, because Arsenal face West Ham away. OK, that's a little tricky. But Chelsea are at home to Newcastle. Yeah. Now, if Chelsea alone, forgetting Arsenal, win against Newcastle at home and Man United lose, the gap's 9 points to 4th spot. That's dead and buried if they lose and it goes that way.
Listen, it's great to have a feel-good factor, but it's completely different when you step on the field against a proper team. And as great as it feels when things are going well, it can very quickly come crashing down.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday. Marcus Rashford, given the assurances by Solskjaer that he is now going to spearhead the United attack. We saw the potential team. I take it you're not surprised.
Absolutely agree, 100%. I think he should have been the spearhead from the get-go. Lukaku. I mean, Lukaku. If you're playing against Lukaku, you know exactly what you're going to get. When you play against Rashford, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know where he is. His movement's fantastic. When you're playing against Lukaku, you know where he is at all times. Rashford gives centre-backs a nightmare because they don't know where he is. He's coming from different angles. He's coming short. He's running in behind. Absolute nightmare for a centre-back.
Any surprise, Craig?
I think Lukaku is a great... And Mourinho used the tactic of bringing Fellaini off the bench. I think Lukaku, and he won't want to hear it, and it's a lot of money, but I think for United, Lukaku coming off the bench is an ideal answer for them, because I don't think long-term, I don't think many of us think he's the answer leading the line up front.
Now, Marcus Rashford, now that he's been given this vote of confidence, it has to be a vote of confidence that lasts. It can't just be that, hey, couple of bad games and now all of a sudden Lukaku is back in. If you're Solskjaer and this is what you're saying, this is my number one, then treat him as a number one. Give him a long run. Allow him to do the things that he can do, or the movement that you're talking about. His finishing has improved. He's getting more consistent. Allow him to become the player that he can be. Don't just say, well, you're my number one for now, and it may just change if things don't go your way.
On a short leash. Yeah, Stewart, I'm curious, as a keen observer of the game, Mr. Robson, who's the better striker for your money? Heads up.
Well, Rashford has got more pace, he's got better movement. I still think he's got to learn the game, but I would say he's the better bet up front. Lukaku is certainly limited in what he can do. He's good in the air, he's a good box player when crosses come into the box, but his link-up play, his movement hasn't been anywhere near as good as Rashford has been in the last few weeks. So I'd go with Rashford, but he's still got a lot to learn to be a top-quality player.